watching Independent Chick. I'm your host, Dana Foster, and we are now talking about women and film. Have you ever wondered what's up with Wonder Woman? Why doesn't she have her own superhero movie? So we're on the discussion today with a couple of women who are going to discuss women in film and where it's going. And we have a filmmaker or producer of Dark Forest. We'll be hearing that clip in a bit. And then we also have Kayla. Can you tell me a little bit about your background in film?
Sure. Yeah. I'm an independent filmmaker working in Winnipeg, and I specialize in dance film.
Oh, awesome.
So lots and lots of women in dance, and so lots and lots of women in dance film.
That's a really cool combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So what do you think the biggest changes have been in the film industry for women, female roles, and women behind the camera?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, I would say there's definite big leap. I remember being a child in the 80s and my mom going to work and just finding it a hard time kind of blending into her specialty area that she was in. But I noticed for myself, even when I went to school, I went to Red River for digital media production. I think there was maybe about 2 or 3 girls in the class, and we were vastly outnumbered by the boys. But finding out more about Winnipeg's history of film and, watching filmmakers out of the Winnipeg Film Group, it was very heavily with men, and then, women are kind of slowly but surely integrating ourselves in wherever we can into all departments, behind camera and in front of camera.
Well, I was mentioning earlier off camera that for me growing up, I was watching this documentary about Wonder Woman, and we were talking about women and the strong female roles, and I remember growing up and imitating Rambo, and as my strong, because I grew up with also brothers too, right? Yeah. But I'm just thinking of all the movies that I remember growing up with, like Terminator and Road Warrior, all strong male role models, and then it wasn't until Terminator that with Sarah Connors that I was like, yeah, she's a cool character, that I started identifying with stronger female characters. So you were saying you kind of grew up with the Buffy and the Xenas.
90s. Yeah, I didn't watch Xena too much, but actually one of my earliest memories is imitating the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers. So I definitely did have some female superheroes, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. So do you see changes happening for women in film behind the camera scene, as well as on camera, but also behind the cameras as women that are behind the camera?
Well, I'm pretty new, so I can't really speak to the changes. I mean, I know that there's a long history of a lack of women present behind the camera. I mean, Catherine Bigelow was the first director to finally win an Oscar, and so I think that's a pretty monumental thing. It just happened a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was just a few years ago.
Why is that? Just interest?
I think that there is, even I was dissuaded from doing certain things. Like, I went to Vancouver and I asked someone in the industry, how do I get into the industry? I'm thinking of doing camera work. And he said, don't. The man said, don't, because my wife is a camera person and it's so hard for her. And so I think that there's that kind of approach of don't deal with it, just avoid the struggle. But Catherine Bigelow says, and I read an interview with her, and she said just ignore the glass ceiling, just go through it.
Is it hard because it's a male-dominated industry and you have to deal with the BS of everything, or is it just harder to get into the industry financially and have a strong career? Or?
I would say, I know of the Winnipeg level of the women that are involved in the industry here. There's Paula Kelly, Danishka Esterhazy, Norma Bailey, they've been around since the 80s, or if not a bit earlier, and they've, just remained steadfast and true to their craft and what they're doing. I think for Hollywood, though, I think it's very kind of old school dominated. So you have all those male producers, and it's kind of passed down. And so I think for Catherine, interestingly enough, even though she is a female director, the content of the movie, I've only seen trailers, I haven't seen the movie, but I know it's very male dominated, in that sense. But I mean, good for her, to persevere and to be pushing that message out, because it is important. Women belong, everywhere the same places as men do. And
all right, so we are going to see a clip of the movie that you produced. It's Dark Forest. Also, my buddy Roger Boyer has this is his film.
It is, yeah. He wrote and directed it. Yeah. And co-wrote, and it was really fun.
All right.
It was a fun project to work on.
So we're going to take a quick look at that clip, and we'll be right back.
Just stand over there, and then I'm going to film you. This will be your intro to our video.
right, so that was just a clip from Dark Forest. Now, you had produced this episode, movie. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So I was the casting director, and I was also one of the producers on it with Coach Studios is our production company. And so we shot the movie. It's very 80s feeling to it, 80s style. It is a horror movie, and there are 4 female leads that are in the show.
Right.
And there's 3 boys, and just very, very strong females.
Wait, our camera guy behind the camera,
Dennis
he
is on camera.
The scary person on
Dennis is our bad guy. But very strong women. And so the basis of it is these 4 friends have been childhood friends, and they've seen each other through a lot of ups and downs. And one of the girls, Emily, is involved in an abusive relationship, and she ends up taking off for the weekend without Peter's permission, who plays her boyfriend, who's played by Dennis, the cameraman, today. And so there's a lot of chaos that ensues over that. And but the women, they stay banded together, and they're strong, and
so cool.
You'll have to see it.
So cool.
Coming October 2014.
Advice that you would give women who are thinking about a career in film?
Just keep doing it.
Okay.
Keep going, volunteer, do what you need to do, get on set, become a background actor, kind of check out
whatever.
Where you want to fit in, and
experiment. For me, that's my experiment. Get a camera, try things with your friends, just do whatever you can to just make it happen.
Just keep doing it.
I love this. That was great chatting with you guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on the show. Follow us on Twitter. You can go to IC_ Dana, you can follow me, or IC_ Strength. And you can also like us at Independent Chick. Thank you so much for joining our show today. I hope you have something to take home with you, and you're able to go out into the interweb and make some changes. Thanks so much for joining us here on Independent Chick.